Hello sports fans, it's Stephen Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special NFL fantasy prediction video. A lot of people have been demanding these fantasy football top 10 rankings from me, so I'm going to go ahead and give them to you. In this video right here, I'm going to be breaking down the top 10 running backs for fantasy football so you can win your fantasy football league. We're going to start at number 10. Number 10, Chris Johnson of the Tennessee Titans. For the last couple of years, yes, he's fallen off. He came into the league as a fantasy stud. He led a lot of major categories as far as young running backs go. But when I look at Chris Johnson now, the Tennessee Titans finally have taken the initiative to fix their offensive line in the draft and in free agency this season. The Titans lost out on Jared Cook as a tight end, but I look at that as being a plus for Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson will get a lot more carries. Locker, I don't really believe in. I don't believe in any of the quarterbacks they have in Tennessee, so I don't think that they'll throw the ball a lot. I think they'll get back to the basics, keep giving Chris Johnson the ball and feeding him continuously. I think that in an NFL system where a lot of teams are going to a two-back system, Chris Johnson wants to fight to keep his job and fight to keep that contract that he's so hard held out for. But Chris Johnson will be effective this season, and basically he will reclaim his status as a top 10 fantasy runner in the NFL. Coming in at number 9, Frank Gore. Frank Gore is the truth, basically. You can't really doubt what he does time after time, even with injuries limiting him in the past couple of years. He's mostly stayed healthy and mostly produced throughout these seasons. Having Colin Kaepernick is going to help also. Teams can no longer just pile 8 in the box and just run at Frank Gore. They have to play defense smart and wise against this 49ers team. Frank Gore will have a lot of chances to break off a lot of big runs because a lot of the secondary and a lot of the linebackers will be so far back that if he gets past that first line for the next 15 to 20 yards, he won't have anybody close to him. And as soon as they get Crabtree back, that'll be even more of a threat for Frank Gore to go hit the home run ball. Plus, having Colin Kaepernick is a solid quarterback over Alex Smith, who didn't really take chances, who really didn't get out the pocket, who really didn't break plays down and get extra yards. So Frank Gore, number 9, is a solid slot for him. Coming in at number 8, Steven Jackson of the Atlanta Falcons. He will not get as many carries as a lot of people think. His carries will come at the end of games, towards the red line and to close out red zone and towards closing out games. Steven Jackson is a power runner who also has speed and can finesse you also. Plus, he will catch a lot of passes out of the backfield. Matt Ryan and the Falcons oftentimes love to use the screenplay. They often love to use the different directional plays and reverses and things like that with their running backs. So I'm looking forward to Steven Jackson doing a solid job in Atlanta and really helping the Atlanta Falcons potentially make a Super Bowl. Coming in at number 7, Doug Martin of the Buccaneers. A lot of people call him the muscle hamster. He hates that name. But Doug Martin showed us a lot last season. He showed us glimpses of greatness, breaking out big plays and making out big yards against the Vikings, against the Raiders. And he really set a lot of goals for himself. With the Buccaneers, Josh Freeman really having to step up, having Vincent Jackson there, it will really open up that offense for Doug Martin to get a lot more carries. Greg Schiano trust him more, seeing that what he did, giving him a little by little last year as a rookie, and then just taking the reins off this year. You will see Doug Martin catch the ball more this season. You also will see him run the ball exceptionally more this season. Coming in at number 6, Ray Rice. With the Baltimore Ravens transitioning from a defensive team to an offensive team, it seems, over the years, Ray Rice has been a consistent threat. Ray Rice will have to learn how to play in a dual back system now. That's why he dropped off a little bit in my rankings, because Ray Rice won't have those 30 rushes per game anymore. They will keep him fresh, and they will also use him in the run game and in the pass game more. This is becoming more of Joe Flacco's team. This is becoming a team that will use their tight ends and play actions more. They also, even losing Anquan Bolden, you still have Torrey Smith out there. You still have solid wide receiver threats on that team. Jones is a big threat also. They just have a lot of speed, and plus, Ray Rice is one of those guys who can break for 80 yards at any point in time. He will not have a problem adjusting to this new offense. He will also not have a problem bonding with Joe Flacco, doing better things in the offense and growing as a running back. Ray Rice is a stud fantasy wide receiver. I think you should pick him up if he's available at this point in time. but he comes in at my list at number 6. Coming in at number 5, Jamaal Charles. Jamaal Charles had an MVP-like season on a horrible team last year. Jamaal Charles was basically the only offensive threat that the Kansas City Chiefs had last season that was really doing his thing. Even when the quarterbacks went down, even when they had coaches threatening to be fired, Ray Rice, all he did was produce each and every game last year. It was so many things Jamaal Charles did to make this thing go that he made the Pro Bowl. You know, it's so many talented players around the Kansas City Chiefs now that you have Andy Reid as the head coach. Dwayne Bowe is happy with his new place. Alex Smith will be conservative with the ball. That means Jamaal Charles won't have to be on the field less because they'll have the ball, because I don't think Alex Smith is going to turn the ball over a lot. He will have a lot more plays, and I think Andy Reid is going to turn him into the Brian Westbrook that he had in Philadelphia, where he's going to be used as a scat back, where he can catch a lot of passes, where he can run a lot of screens, and he's going to use him, bounce him to the outside for a lot of the runs, because Jamaal Charles has the ability to go on the inside on these runs, but the way that the Kansas City Chiefs are built with their offensive line, they're going to have a lot more power on the outside, so those veer runs and those back runs and those back tosses, Jamaal Charles is going to be very happy with his production next year. I think he's going to have another breakout season and show people why he's worth the big money in Kansas City. Coming in at number 4, Shady McCoy. LeSean McCoy did so much for the Eagles franchise in his young career. I think that with this new Chip Kelly offense that I've been seeing some of the blueprints of it, seeing some of the offensive scats and offensive plays that they run, he will be used in a very quick fashion. A lot of quarterback draws where the quarterback has the option to give it to Shady McCoy. Also, he's a solid running back. He fights for extra yards. The only question is, can Shady McCoy stay healthy for a full season? We've seen him battle nagging injuries throughout the past 2 seasons, but his hands and his hand-eye coordination are one of the best in the NFL. When it goes to running backs, there's no one more that I trust to catch the ball out the backfield than LeSean McCoy. Plus, this Chip Kelly offense, he will be running a lot of wildcat packages to where he is the controller of the offense. Red zone, they're going to lean on him a lot more. I know that they made a lot of mistakes putting the ball in Michael Vick's hands last year on the goal line, so they will make sure that he's deeper in this system as far as the offense goes, and I think that he'll do great at number 4 as a pickup for running backs. Coming at number 3, the baby beast, Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch and the Seattle Seahawks are doing an extravagant job of picking up talent and surrounding young Russell Wilson, the quarterback that is going to lead them into the future, their franchise quarterback, with great talent. Marshawn Lynch gets stronger as the game goes on. I've never seen a running back who, after eating Skittles, goes crazy. And you see it on the sideline. He's got the endorsement deals. Fans are constantly throwing Skittles after he scores a touchdown. He feeds off energy. And with Seattle Seahawks having probably the best home field advantage in the NFL, I think it's going to be big time that a lot of these games are going to come down to Marshawn Lynch's running style, his never go down mentality. And I think that this team is young. It's built on power. It's built on speed. It's built on being physical. And I think that suits Marshawn Lynch well. And I think that a lot of people will be surprised by the production that he puts up, because I think that the Seattle Seahawks have a great chance of making the Super Bowl. I think all they need to do is obtain home field advantage, and Marshawn Lynch will be a very big part of that. Coming in at number 2, Arian Foster of the Houston Texans. What can I say? Arian Foster is a consistent running back. The Houston Texans have had something special for the last 3 to 4 years. Having Matt Schaub, having Andre Johnson, having Owens, the tight end, they have a lot of key pieces that a lot of people would kill to have. But the only thing is, Matt Schaub has to get it together. Arian Foster is going to do his job. He's going to constantly keep coming and keep getting better as the game goes on. And you know, Arian Foster is one of those patient running backs who, he doesn't try to break off an 80-yard run each and every play. He waits, picks his time, and the play action is going to be tremendous for the Houston Texans. Adding a solid number of pieces back to this defense, like Ed Reed, getting back, cushioning off injury, that will be solid for the Houston Texans. I think that they have a lot to be grateful for. And Arian Foster and Ben Tate this season will have breakout seasons, but I think Arian Foster will be more beneficial because he starts, because the Houston Texans trust him. And Gary Kubiak has made it his identity to run the football with the Houston Texans. So I'm thinking the Houston Texans will be in great hands with Arian Foster running, and him being healthy starting the season without any hamstring injuries will be big for them. And I'm picking Arian Foster to be the second best running back in the NFL this season, coming in at number 1. It's no surprise that Adrian Peterson is number 1 on this list because he is just a freak of nature. He takes care of his body. He's a beast. We've seen him come back from horrific knee injuries. We've seen him get injured and come back and look like nothing happened. That almost breaking history last season, I think that'll motivate him to play. I don't think it will be to that level next season. I think that adding offensive weapons to Christian Ponder is great for the Vikings, but losing Percy Harvin is going to be a tough break. But Adrian Peterson has been the only consistent thing in Minnesota for the last couple of years. It's just so many things Adrian Peterson can do. He can run past you. He can run over you. He can run through you. So him having the power plus speed plus him taking care of himself and training and constantly trying to get better, I think that Adrian Peterson will be motivated to not only do well but try to break the record that he narrowly missed by a couple of yards last season. And I think that it will be great for the Vikings. I think that they possibly could make the playoffs with Adrian Peterson running like a man possessed, like a man on fire. And basically, he's the best running back in the NFL right now. So this has been a top 10 NFL fantasy breakdown of the fantasy running backs that you need for the 2013 season. You can follow me on Twitter at JustMyPicksTV. Also, check me out at JustMyPicks.com. Also, subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe to me and leave comments. Share all my videos. Thank you very much and good luck on your fantasy team this year.